Raju sat at the edge of a rusty bench outside a quiet tea shop, his chipped glass of lukewarm chai untouched. His eyes followed a shiny black car as it cruised past. In the driver's seat was Varun, his old classmate, laughing with his wife and their toddler in the back. The engine purred like confidence. Raju looked down at his worn-out sandals. The silence around him was heavier than the humid summer air. He lit a cigarette with shaking hands. No job, no skills, no clue how life ran away from him so fast. And just like that, his mind drifted backward to a time when he thought the world would wait for him. As a kid, Raju was the king of doing nothing. His mother used to nag him every single morning. "Raju, get up! Don't waste your day, learn something, do something." But he'd just roll over and mutter, "Chill, Ma. I've got plenty of time." Plenty of time? That phrase sat like a curse on his childhood. While other kids were out learning how to paint, fix radios, or help their dads in the fields, Raju would be lying under a tree, tossing pebbles in the air and daydreaming. Sometimes he'd tag along with his friends, but just to joke around and waste time. When someone talked about goals or hard work, he'd chuckle, "Bro, relax. We're kids. Hustling is for people with no vibe." He thought he was smarter for not stressing. He thought life would somehow reward him just for existing. That was Raju, young, full of attitude, allergic to effort. And now here he was, mid-20s, nowhere to go, no one calling his name. He had all the time in the world once. Back when Raju was about 13, there was one man in the village who everyone respected, Rao Uncle. He was a lean, sun-wrinkled farmer with hands tough as tree bark and eyes that had seen too many wasted lives. One afternoon, as Raju sat lazily by the well, peeling sugarcane and spitting the fibers out like a bored prince, Rao Uncle walked by and chuckled. "Boy," he said, "you're rich in time now. But if you keep throwing it away, one day it'll come back to choke you. Free time looks like freedom, but later it feels like chains." Raju just laughed. "Uncle, you worry too much. You folks didn't have phones or fun back in the day. That's why you all love hard work." Rao Uncle shook his head, smiled with pity, and walked on. Raju didn't care. He thought old people just hated happiness. While his friends were learning how to wire light bulbs or help their parents with small businesses, Raju was a professional at wasting time. He'd wake up at noon, yawn like it was a full-time job, scroll through nonsense videos, and laugh at memes till his eyes watered. He once watched a tutorial on painting for 5 minutes, then tossed his phone aside and said, "Hey, I'll start next week. Maybe." He'd walk past his friend Mohan sketching quietly and yell, "Oh, Picasso, leave some talent for us poor souls." When Mohan offered to teach him a few basics, Raju just waved a biscuit and said, "Bro, why rush? I'm conserving energy for future greatness." That was Raju, the village clown, always ready with a joke, never with effort. The warnings came soft and gentle, but never loud enough to shake him. He was too busy being comfortable, too sure the world would wait for him to grow up. The news spread like wildfire. A rich merchant from the city had arrived, and he wasn't just passing through. He was offering jobs, real jobs, for kids. Not just cash, but mentorship, training, even a future outside the village. The only catch? A simple test. 10 days. Learn a skill. Create something. Show your effort. At first, Raju snorted. "What is this? A talent show?" he joked to his friends while sipping soda under the banyan tree. "They're turning us into circus monkeys now?" But the laughter around him was different this time. No one joined in. His friends were already busy. Mohan was painting under a tree, deep in concentration. Shyam was learning to fix a broken fan with his uncle. Even little Neelu was writing songs with her older sister. Raju's stomach twisted. He walked home slower that day. His mind raced, but his hands felt empty. No craft, no skill, nothing. He looked at his fingers, almost blaming them for not knowing how to do anything. The first 3 days slipped through his fingers like sand. He sat on his bed, staring at the wall, paralyzed. Not lazy this time, just lost. What should he even try? Painting? Singing? Gardening? His brain screamed, "Anything!" But his body stayed still. By day 4, the panic settled in like cold fog. He tried copying Mohan's sketches. They looked like disaster. He tried learning a song, forgot the lyrics halfway. Everything felt rushed, fake, embarrassing. On the 10th day, the whole village gathered in the square. Kids proudly presented their work. Beautiful drawings, clever wooden toys, plants blooming in neat pots. Then Raju's name was called. He walked to the front, empty hands, eyes on the ground. The merchant raised an eyebrow. "You didn't bring anything?" Raju swallowed hard. "No, sir. I wasted my time." And just like that, the crowd went quiet. After that day, Raju didn't leave his house for nearly a week. He'd lie on his cot, staring at the ceiling fan spinning above him, round and round, just like his thoughts. That silence from the crowd, the way the merchant looked at him, the whispers, the smirks, it all replayed on a loop, over and over. Every time he closed his eyes, that moment came crashing back. He wasn't angry at the world anymore. He was angry at himself. He watched his friends move forward. Mohan got picked by the merchant for an art program. Shyam was fixing lights around the village and getting paid. Even Neelu had recorded a song that went viral on someone's phone. And Raju? Nothing. Not even a skill to fall back on. He sat at the tea stall one evening, head down, when the shopkeeper casually said, "You had your chance, Beta. Some people just aren't meant to do much." That broke something inside him. That night, he couldn't sleep. His mother's old voice echoed in his head. "Son, don't sit idle. Learn something. Anything." Rao Uncle's warning came next. Free time looks like freedom now, but later, it'll feel like chains. He sat up, looked at the clock. It was 3:27 a.m. That's when it started. Not a magical transformation, no fireworks, just one decision. He picked up a book from his shelf he'd never touched before. The next day, he helped a neighbor fix a broken fence. A week later, he offered to assist the local carpenter. No pay, just learning. It was awkward, slow, lonely, but something in him had changed. He wasn't chasing success anymore. He was chasing redemption. A few years later, if you walked through that same village, you'd hardly recognize Raju. He wasn't the loudest guy in the room. He didn't drive a shiny car or wear fancy clothes. But when something broke, be it a phone, a fan, or someone's confidence, people came to him. It started small, fixing old radios, rewiring switches, helping farmers set up solar lights. But word spread. Raju didn't just work, he cared. He showed up early, stayed late, and didn't cut corners. Over time, that tiny corner shop became a proper repair business. Then a workshop. Then a place where young boys came not just to learn, but to change. One day, Mohan stopped by, holding a cracked phone. "You really figured it out, huh?" he laughed. Raju smiled. "Took me long enough." But it wasn't pride in his eyes. It was peace. Sometimes Raju would sit under that same banyan tree where he used to waste entire afternoons, and he'd see young boys scrolling on their phones, joking about life, saying they'd start next week. And that's when he'd speak up. He didn't yell, he didn't preach, he'd just tell them the truth. "I once thought time was cheap, that I had forever, but it nearly destroyed me. I wasted years I'll never get back. And when I had nothing, not even a skill to hide behind, that's when I realized the truth. Pain builds you if you let it." They'd go quiet. Some would listen. Some would laugh it off, just like he used to. But Raju didn't mind, because he had become what Rao Uncle once was, a warning, a guide, a living reminder that rock bottom isn't the end. It's where some people finally start building. Raju sits outside his shop now, the sun low in the sky, a soft breeze brushing past. His hands are rough, his shirt is stained, and there's a thin scar near his wrist from a repair job gone wrong. He doesn't care. That scar means something. And when people sit next to him, young, old, lost, he doesn't tell them some fairy tale. He gives them the truth, raw, unfiltered. "Wasting time," he says, "doesn't hit you like a slap. It creeps in quietly. It lets you laugh today, chill tomorrow, scroll the next day. And before you know it, 5 years are gone. You're standing in a room full of people who moved forward while you stayed exactly where you were." He pauses. "I know, because that was me." His voice drops, low, steady. "I kept saying later. I thought comfort was peace. But comfort is a liar. It keeps you still, makes you weak, and you won't even realize it until something smacks you awake. An opportunity you're not ready for, a moment you can't rise to, a silence that feels heavier than words." He leans forward slightly. "But hear me. If you're still breathing, you're not done. You're not finished. I don't care how old you are, how far behind you feel. You've still got time." He points gently as if speaking straight into the listener's soul. "But that window is closing. Every hour you waste is a brick in the wall you'll later have to climb. So stop saying tomorrow. That's the lie that almost ruined me." He stands up, brushes the dust from his trousers. "You're not too late. Not yet. But if you keep sitting there doing nothing, then yeah, you will be." And with that, he walks back into his little shop, the one he built from nothing but regret, grit, and time he finally learned to respect.